Realize the time change thing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Out of Nowhere. Um, it's a brand new show. We've been going for about 6 months now, something like that. My special guest today is Myra Cartagenova. It's hard to say sometimes. Myra is a psychic medium, animal communicator, best-selling author with clients from all over the globe. She specializes in heartfelt messages from both past and loved ones, as well as living or past, and babies as well. Can we please welcome Myra to the show? Hello there.
Hey, Bob, how you doing? Thank you for having me. Sorry about the time change snafu. It's been a little crazy with Mercury retrograde. Everything seems to be getting a little
Yeah,
crazy,
hey, never mind.
uh,
Never
you
mind.
know.
You're
But
here.
I'm
That's the main
here. I
thing.
made it. Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for having me.
We'll
And
just start before we. I know a lot of people have sent photos to you. But before all that, how did it all start for you being a psychic medium?
yeah, I was just looking. I do have a couple of photos that people sent me for their animals, so that is awesome. Well, like you said, I go by Media Mari, but I have a very hard name to pronounce, Mari Cartagenova, so we don't go by that. And for me, I guess I always like to say I was born this way because this has just been something normal for most of my life. I remember as early as the age of 4 connecting with angels and seeing them above my bed, and I would talk to them because I thought that's what happened to everybody. And I would connect with my past loved ones and see spirit. And for me, that was just something that I did that I thought everybody else did as well. And then at some point, I realized that not everybody was doing that. And when I would talk to spirit or I would talk to the trees or the animals, a lot of the other kids thought I was weird. And so I started to kind of hide it because I was embarrassed. But it's been something that has been with me my whole life. And I started doing it, as I got older. I went to college and I got a master's degree and had my family. And I just kept getting lots of little hints from spirit that, you're supposed to be doing this, you're supposed to be doing this. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that because it seemed kind of like a weird profession to get into. And at some point, there was a medium from the UK who gave me a reading, and he said, you're supposed to be doing mediumship. And I was like, what are you talking
Hmm.
about? Like, of course, like that's weird. And like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, but I kept hearing that. And then, when my grandmother died and then my aunt, they started to come to me and say, hey, you're supposed to be working in this spiritual field. You're supposed to be healing people through this work. And I was still, I guess I have a hard head because I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. And then at some point I was in the Orlando airport, and I had to use the restroom, and so I went into the restroom area, and as you know, there's like 1,000 different stalls in there. And I went into one of the stalls, and in the stall there was one tarot card, and the only thing it said was trust. And I literally
Oh,
like threw my hands up, looked up at the sky, and I was like, okay, I get it. I will do it. And so ever since then, I started studying and training, and, this is what I'm doing now. So, yeah, that's the story.
you know, I'm going to ask you another question, but somebody in the chat room's got a good question. I'll put it up there for you. Why is it when you want to watch something, the dog and cat start needing stuff doing, like demanding kids?
Well, exactly. It's just like your kids, if you're mom or dad and you're trying to have that 5 minutes of peace, that's always when your children or your animals are trying to get something from you. And it's the same thing with the animals because they understand what's going on in our lives. So, I mean, they realize that, they want you to be able to rest, but when they see you resting, they're like, oh, now's my chance. Now I can ask mom to do something. Because think about it, or dad, think about it, the rest of the time you're busy. So you're busy, you're rushing, you're going, you're doing, but when you finally sit down and you're trying to have that me time or whatever you're doing, the animal's like, okay, now she has some time to help me with the things I need. So they're just really trying to get your attention and to not put pressure on you when they see that you're busy doing something else, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know. Because Steph just said, Joanne's just saying, Steph, they're like babies.
Exactly, 100%. They are, but and I work with people, I work with animals, but a lot of times our animals are here and they're sent here to help us to sort of be the best version of ourselves. So say we have something going on, say we're feeling really anxious or freaking out about something. Many times our animals will mirror that. They will be our mirror and they'll start freaking out themselves, and we're like, hey, why are you freaking out? Like, what's going on with you? It's because they're trying to show us, hey mom, this is something that's going on with you, you may want to try to work on that right now. So that's why they're here, is to sort of help elevate our souls to be the best person and soul that we can be in this lifetime.
I know many, many years ago, I think I had a cat about, oh God, 50 years ago. It knew when I was not feeling very well, it would come and sit with me.
Exactly. Exactly. And especially cats. And dogs are wonderful too, but cats especially, it's been scientifically proven if you look up the studies that their purring helps to heal. And so I know for myself and for many of my clients, if you have an ache or a pain, I have a cat that I call her the witch's cat because she's dark, she's very dark gray. And whenever I'm doing readings, she likes to come in. But if I've hurt myself or, I have an ache or a pain somewhere, she will come and sit on that part. So say if I'm lying down and I hurt my shoulder, she'll come and sit on my shoulder. Or if I hurt my
Mm,
hip, she'll sit on my hip because she knows and because she wants to try to heal. And then their purring does actually scientifically help with healing in the human body as well. So they're our helpers. They're trying to make things easier for us, believe it or not.
On, on the other side, when I worked at a holiday camp many, many years ago, I used to walk down to my friend's house and I was always frightened of this dog. Do you think the
Mm.
dog knew I was scared of him?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Animals always know, like how we're feeling. And, especially dogs and horses for sure are super tuned into our feelings. And what I would say, Bob, is that sometimes, because believe it or not, sometimes I'm scared of animals too, and
Yeah.
especially horses. And I didn't understand that. And for years, my daughter rode horses and I would ride horses, but I would just have this like weird feeling when I would go into the barn and I would have like not like a panic attack, but almost like like that feeling of but I didn't understand why because I love horses, we're always with horses. So I'm like, why am I freaking out about this? So sometimes if you're having those type of fear feelings, it's because you've had a negative past life experience with
Mm.
that situation. And so when I personally did a past life regression, I found out, with somebody else I had done a regression with, that I had been actually kicked in the chest in another
Oh,
lifetime, and that caused
right.
me to pass away from a horse. So that's why I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. That's why I'm so worried about being around them because nothing in this lifetime happened. Thank God it's been fine. So if you have some fears and you can't link them to anything that's happening in this current lifetime, it's probably because you've had a experience in a past lifetime that caused you to hold on to those feelings. Because many times those feelings are like
Again.
in our soul, they're stuck there through many lifetimes, not just the current lifetime.
And then you always want to come round me now, dogs do.
Are you still there? It's a little
Can
bit
you
of
hear me?
buffering. Yeah, it's a little bit. I'm telling you, it's Mercury retrograde. They're messing everything up. So you're
and
back
then
now.
and
You
then otherwise
disappeared.
now,
Yeah.
otherwise dogs like to come near me now. They want to come close to me, and a lot of people say dogs must love you, Bob.
And are you
So you
still
see that
afraid?
I'm sending off some good vibes now. I've changed
Yeah,
more than years ago.
exactly.
Animal
And
lover.
absolutely, and that can happen because sometimes when we have that fear and we haven't really worked through it and we have that negative energy coming out, the animals can feel that. And if you get near an animal and you're afraid, or you're like, oh, I don't know, the animal is thinking, well, why are they afraid of me? What did I do? Like, should I be scared? Like, you're scared of me. Maybe I should be scared. So then it's like, you're scared, they're scared. It's like a bad combo. So if you're sort of able to work through that type of energy and be more relaxed with them, the dog is like, oh, well, he's cool. Like, I want to be with you now, you know? So it's really, as you know, Bob, you do this work very well.
Yes.
It's all about the energy. It's all about the energy.
Rebe- this is something entirely different, this one. I'll just put this on about Rebecca. I panic every time I have to cross a train line when driving. Now I understand.
Exactly, exactly. And I tried to get onto the chat, but I wasn't able to, but I'm glad you're putting up the comments. Absolutely, Rebecca, because you can have past life experiences with anything. So I would not be surprised if you have some type of panic or stress situation related to things that nothing bad happened during this lifetime. It's probably about a past lifetime. And it's very, there are a lot of people that do regressions and can get into that past life. And many times, once you find out, oh, well, I hurt myself on a train line, or my car got hit by a train or something, then you have the understanding to say, oh, okay, well, that's what happened then. It's not happening now, and I'm okay now. And you're able to sort of release that fear. So it's like the understanding that allows you to let go of it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I've noticed a lot over the years. A lot of children uh, panic around animals, and then you'll get others what are not bothered at all. They'll just play with them
Yeah.
as though it's a doll or anything like that. And sometimes when I look at it, oh my God, that gives me panic attacks when I see a baby pulling at a dog, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope it doesn't bite
Right.
or.
No, 100%. And, depending upon the situation, like animals just like us, some are a lot more patient than others. And so if you have a baby that's pulling on the animal, it depends. If the animal is not that patient, there could be a bad situation. So I think it really depends on the mix. But obviously the baby wouldn't know any better, so it should be up to the parents. But it really is about the energy, because clearly whatever energy a baby has is super pure, but it doesn't know any better. And sometimes it might hurt the animal, and the animal may not be feeling very patient that day. So it could end up in a negative way sometimes. So it's important to keep an eye on things like that. But animals are our biggest healers, and in a lot of ways, they're our biggest allies on this planet, because everybody has good days and bad days. Things, as humans, things happen. We get upset, we get frustrated. But with animals, it's not really quite that way. Animals are always there to sort of hold that energy and help us to rise above whatever situations we're dealing with. They really are one of our greatest allies.
What about these cats that go, people move away and they think, oh, I can't take the cat with me, I'll leave it. And they might have gone, I don't know, 300 miles away and it's turned up in months' times. It's managed to find its way to their property. How can that be?
I know, it's amazing. It's because cats and dog, it's happened with dogs as well, because they have a sense. And I definitely encourage anybody, if you're moving, if you can't take your pet, please find a home for them. Please don't abandon them. It is not nice. But in terms of finding their way, they have a sense, you know, just like animals are, they have a much better sense of smell and in some ways sense of direction. Like if you put a cat somewhere, usually it can find its way back to you. It's because they have an understanding of the direct sense of direction than humans do. I mean, if you drop me in the middle of the woods, good luck. I'll be dead. I'll never find my way out because I'm not good at that. But animals are, and especially with the scent, you know, so they can follow the scent. And if your animal is coming 300 miles for you, it's a pretty good indication that it wants to be with you and it hasn't finished its job. Like our animals have jobs when they're with us to try to teach us certain things or help elevate us or help us work on things within ourselves. And if your animal is like saying, look, I haven't finished my job, I need to be with you, it's important that we as people get that message because, you know, that's why we're all here. We're all here to grow. We all make mistakes. And, you know, every day we just
No,
try to do better, you know?
but I do know that animals grieve as much as adults, don't they? As humans,
Yes,
when they're
absolutely.
if they're part of, when somebody's been looking after them and they die or pass away, the dog or cat will, well, it'll just cry uh, like a human being would. It missed
Yes.
the other half.
Excuse me. Yes, absolutely. Because they, you know, contrary to what some people think, they're like, oh, it's just a stupid dog. It's like they have feelings, you know, all the animals have feelings. The cows, the lions, they're all, you know, they're all soul. They all have soul. You know, they're all connected to source. No, they're not exactly the same as we are, but any living creature all has a soul and they all grieve and they all love and they all want to be treated fairly and absolutely they're not an object. It's not like a pen, you know, it has a soul and
Exactly.
it's yeah, it's connected and they all need respect, you know.
What about the tale of the cat's got 9 lives?
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I think a lot of that is, I think, just in the way that cats are put together, is that they have a really elevated soul. I don't want to say they're more elevated than dogs, but in some ways they really are. And I feel like they are closer to source, to heaven, or, you know, people talk about, you know, the fifth dimension, getting higher in dimensions and getting more enlightened, I guess you could say. So I feel like cats are higher up on that dimensional level. And that's why I feel like even sometimes when they might be doing kind of crazy things or jumping around, I feel it's, you know, it's source, it's God's will, I guess, if you want to say that they are able to continue and survive because they have so much work to do here on this planet with us. And, you know, I think honestly, that's why they have so many lives and they're so lucky, you could say. I feel like it's more ordained from above that they are able to stick around as long as they do.
Got another question here from Steph. My dog Ruby passed away. My cat became really clingy, following me around and very vocal towards me.
Yeah, 100%. It's because, you know, your cat understood. And, you know, I don't know if your cat and Ruby were the best of friends, but even if they weren't, there's still that soul connection to another creature because the soul connection from animal to animal is different than from animal to human. Because even though we're all souls, there's still, it's like, you know, you might have your friend Susan and your friend Mary, your connection to each of them might be good, but they're a little different. So it's the same
Yes,
between animal to animal. And so when your cat is becoming clingy, it's because she was missing Ruby in some way. Even if they weren't the best of friends, it's that essence of another animal soul that she had and had on a daily basis. And then suddenly, poof, it's gone. And it's like a longing almost. It's a longing of like a broken heart or missing a piece of your heart. So she was like, your cat's like, hey mom, you know, Ruby's gone. I need more attention. I need more love to fill that hole that Ruby left with me. And so I think that's totally normal. It's like God forbid if someone in your family died, that you would feel that loss, and the animals feel exactly the same way.
I'm going to say that as well. For yourself, if you've got a family member, your mom died or your dad died, it's hard to get over it. It takes a while. You grieve
Exactly.
like everybody else does. And like you said,
Uh,
animals do just like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in some ways, with some losses, because I think everybody has, they might call it your soul animal, your soul cat or your soul dog, some animal that you're so connected to, you don't know why, but you have a deep, deep connection. And in those cases, a lot of times you don't really ever get over it. It might get a little less painful over time, but in some ways that loss, if you think about it, is just as fresh as it was 10 years ago, because it's a deep loss. And same thing with parents. You might get feel a little bit better, but you don't 100% get over it. And it's hard. It's hard being human, Bob. It's really hard.
Yes, yeah. Another good question here. Hi, Mara. Do you have a favourite animal connection from Bobby Dazzler?
Hi, Bobby Dazzler. I like the picture of your doggy there. Um, Favorite animal connection? I don't know. There's been so many of them, like, over the years, that I can't remember them all, but I think one of them, there's a lot, but one of them that sticks out that I'm just coming up with now is that I did a reading on a horse. I don't know how many years, 10 years ago or something. I did this reading on a horse. It was fine, whatever. And then 6 months later, somebody else wanted me to do a reading on a horse. And then when I got, because they send me pictures so I can do the readings. And
Yeah.
then when I got, I did the first reading, and then like 6 months passed, I did the second reading. And then at some point, I realized that the horse that I was reading was the same horse, but it had two different owners. And so when I did
Oh,
the first, it was really, but I didn't, but even when I saw the picture, the horse looked
yeah.
totally different, because the first time I saw this horse and I did the reading, the horse wasn't very happy with this owner. It wanted to do a certain riding style, like maybe Western. It wasn't really like used to that. And they just didn't really get along. And that was what I told the owner. And the owner was like, yeah, it's 100% right. And, I'm looking to rehome the horse, but I wanted to check in with the horse. And then 6 months later, when I got another picture, totally different person, I was doing the reading and I was like, wait a second. I think I've read for this animal before, but it wasn't the same person. So the horse had gone to a new owner, and that had been with
Right.
that owner for a while and then had passed away. But that reading was totally different, because this owner had a different connection with the horse, and the horse was very happy, loved working with the owner. She rode a different riding style. I think it was more dressage or something. And the horse was very happy in that work situation and in that companion situation. But to me, it was so striking that I read the same horse with two different owners, two different living situations, and it was completely different. And when I finally finished, I was like, wow, I think I read this animal before. And the woman was like,
Yes.
yeah, I got this horse from this other person, 3 months ago. And I was like, wow. So that kind of blew me away a little bit.
I can say because Bobby Dazzler just said, "What is your strangest one?"
My strangest one. Oh, I don't even know. Um, I mean, nothing too like super crazy, but I'm always surprised at what the animals tell me. Like I was doing a reading for this dog, or it was a person that owned the dog, but I was reading
Yeah.
this dog, and the dog kept showing me his fingernails, and I was like, I don't know why he's showing me the fingernails. There's like something on them. I don't, because the way that I work is I'm very clairvoyant, so I see things energetically, but since
Yeah.
it's not my person or my animal, I don't know what they're talking about. So I just have to, between me and spirit and the client, we have to try to figure it out. So I kept seeing these fingernails of the animal, and I was like, I don't know, did they get them cut? Because it almost looks like there's something on them, and the color is kind of strange. I don't understand what's going on with that, but the dog wanted me to make reference to this. And so it turns out that this dog, who had since passed, was very close with this woman's granddaughter. And whenever the granddaughter would come over, she would paint the dog's nails with nail polish. And that's what the dog was trying to show me, because it was like all different colors. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but it did, the client understood. So that was kind of strange.
I know, I think Bobby Dazzler sent you a photo of a dog, I think. You'd have to have a look in your messengers.
Yeah, is this I have a photo from Diane Farrell, and I have a photo from Steph Jeans. So
Yes.
I don't know if that's either, if
I
that's
know
Bobby
you can.
Dazzler.
I'll tell you what to do. Do Diane and then Steph. Do them two first.
Okay. And I don't know if
In
they're
which order?
here. All right. So this is, I don't know if you'll be able to see. This is and I don't know if the dog is living or crossed over. If Diane is here, this is her dog Blizzard.
Oh yes, yeah. I know. I can see that. Beautiful
Very
dog.
cute, little like husky type dog. And so
Yes.
I don't know if Diane is
I think
here,
she's.
but
Yes,
she's
she is. She's in chat room.
okay, great. So I don't know if Diane, you could tell me if Blizzard is still, or if you know, Bob, if Blizzard is still here. He is here. He
Alive.
is here. Okay.
It's alive.
He's alive. All right. That's good. Good to know. But it's very funny because, like, before the show, I got the pictures, and I always try to prep a little bit before I do my readings. And when I was sort of coming into the energy of Blizzard, he mentioned a couple things to me. One of the things he was talking to me was about, it was almost like a puzzle, something about a game or puzzle. So I don't know if there's certain games that you like to play with him, because he's very playful. He's very smart, as you probably already know. He's super
Yeah.
smart dog, and he likes, but it's almost like it was almost like a hide and seek type of a game. He keeps making me aware of this games. Like, I love playing games with my mom. I love playing games with the family. So there's some piece about the games or the puzzle, or you hide something and they find it. There's some piece about that that Blizzard kept talking to me about. And then when I was also connecting with him, he kept talking about a mustache. So I don't know if somebody in the family has a mustache. I don't know why he was talking to me about this, but he kept making me aware of a mustache. So there was some piece about that, something funny to him. He has like a really funny sense of humor. Like, I almost want to say like he's kind of quirky in his way. I mean, all of our animals, like I was saying earlier, have their own personalities just like we do.
Yeah.
And he's very like funny and quirky. Like, I don't want to say he's not like a normal dog, but he has his own way of doing things, and he almost likes to laugh at himself too, because he has a really good sense of humor. And I see in the chat that Diane said that he likes to hide his treats. Thank you for that. Because yeah, he kept talking to me about the game of
Yeah.
hiding. So for him, he enjoys that, and he thinks it's really funny. And it's almost like there's a piece about him that he almost likes to play tricks on other people as well. Almost not to like mess anybody up, but just to like make people laugh, because he's got such a buoyant personality and a really good sense of humor that he likes to, that's how he likes to live his life and go through his life that way. And thank you for sharing him with me. He's very sweet. He's a very sweet boy, but he's very much more like a person than he is like a dog. And I think that's where I'm getting all this sort of quirky sense of personality with him, that he likes to do.
Right.
Let's
I'm
see.
sure she'll get back to us with that. I know Bobby Dazzler just said, I've sent Mara the picture on her messenger.
Okay, I'm
If you can't,
looking.
you can get it off this
Yeah.
one on here.
Okay, because I have a couple different messengers, so it's possible that they sent it on a different one.
Right.
Or if the person is here, yeah, they could send the picture here. Oh, you're welcome, Diane. He said he is human. Thank you. He is. He's funny. He's like a quirky guy, you know? He's like quirky and he's funny and he wants to make everybody laugh. So Blizzard is he's very cute. So
Ca-
yeah, I go ahead. I'm sorry, Bob.
I would say you can do. Who's the other one? Steph, did you say?
Steph, yes, I have Bodie from
Yeah.
Steph because I don't see a
Yes.
picture of Bobby Dazzler's animal. Let's see.
Well,
This is Bodie.
oh
Sorry.
yes, yes. That's Bodie. Yes.
Bodie, very cute. And I know you said that he's still here. I know
Yes.
if you have a particular question for him, but it's funny because like as you do the work too, Bob, so you know how it works. It's like when you come into the energy of a person or an animal, they all feel totally different, you know? And so when I come into
Yeah, they
Bodhi's
do.
energy, there's something that's very calm about him, you know, almost like a little Buddha like. Like I do feel sometimes he can be a little high strung in certain situations. So I do get that. But it's almost like, I don't know the medical term, but those machines that they go like boop, boop. So sometimes I
Ah,
feel like,
yes. Yeah.
you know, what is it, the heart rate machine? So sometimes he can get a little anxious, I feel like, when he can like something happens and pulls him up there. But I think in general, he's pretty chill. Like he's pretty like I know his name's Bodhi, but it's like Buddha. I just get that mellow yellow kind of vibe from him. And he likes to take care of everybody. So even though he's small, there's some peace about him wanting to make sure that everybody's okay, and especially his humans, his mom, his dad. He wants to make sure that everybody's okay. So he'll be like, are you good? Like, come up and check. Are you okay? Like, do you have everything? So it's funny because even though he's so small, he feels his energy feels a lot bigger and more like enveloping because he
Yeah.
wants to take care of everybody. Um, and I don't know if I think it's
He's
Steph if
very
she's still
anxious. Steph is saying.
online. Yeah, yeah. So I do get that, but I feel like that his base personality, I don't know if there's been something specific that happened in your life, Steph, that has sort of made his anxiety ramp up a little bit. But I do feel like his core personality, he is kind of chill. It's just more that he's not able to deal with his anxiety that well. And so what I would recommend for that is to really talk to him and say like, I know, honey, I'm sorry that you're having a hard time right now. Let's talk about what's going on with you and whether there's something that happened in the house or because I'm not sure if you moved houses recently because he keeps talking to me about things changing or if there was someone in the house and they moved out, there's some change that has caused that spike in the anxiety because in general his personality is kind of chill, but it's when he has those spikes of anxiety that it makes it harder for him to sort of deal with things. So I would just recommend talking to him about that, trying to figure out what's going on in the environment to make that anxiety spike for him. Because overall, he's like, I don't want to be this way. Like he doesn't like being that way. It's almost like I just get this feeling in my body that he wants to get out of that anxiety. So he is very motivated to get back to his sort of normal template, which would be more calm and more chill. So that's what I'd recommend for you. But overall, he definitely has a way of wanting to take care of everybody else. He's just having trouble sort of figuring out how to do that right now.
Yeah, she was just saying he's always wants everyone together. He's a rescue from Romania, and a behaviorist said he has PTSD.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, that makes sense. Yeah, because he likes that family. He wants to be together. But I'm telling you, his baseline personality is kind of chill. So if you're able to sort of work with the PTSD and try to keep his environment as sort of calm as possible and not make a lot of changes if it's, obviously things happen in our lives, but to try to keep it as calm and as sort of base level as possible, I feel like he's going to do a lot better because he just needs that solid foundation to stand on. And then you're going to see his real personality of, the chill dude sort of coming out. It's just his trauma that's causing, those anxious spikes in him because he's like, but I'm not really that way. I'm not really that way. He keeps saying to me. So hang in there. Things will get better with him.
Right. I've got a photo of Amanda's, if you can see
Oh,
that.
okay. Let's see. A little bit. Oh, is that it's like a white dog?
Yeah, black and
A
white
little
dog, I
bit.
think.
Okay, and what's the doggy's name? Do you know? And is the doggy still here?
They call it, that's what they call it, Bobby Dazzler.
Oh, that's the dog's name?
Yes, Bobby Dazzler.
Oh, okay, that's funny. And Bobby Dazzler is still here, or has he crossed over?
Yes, yes, still here.
He's still here. Okay, great. Well, thank you for that, Bob. I appreciate it. Bob and Bobby Dazzler. I love that. Um, it's interesting as I sort of come into his energy. It almost feels like I'm getting a little yin yang with him because I do feel like there's a little bit of anxiety with him as well, but that he's trying to work on it. So it's almost like a half and half situation that I'm sort of feeling with Bobby. But he's also very like, it's funny because he's showing me like checking in with you. I guess if Amanda's the mom, is that okay? Like, did I do that right? So it's almost
Yeah,
like he's working on himself, that he wants to, not that he wants to be perfect, but he wants to be better. So he's checking in with you to be like, was that all right? Like, did you like that? So he's almost like a pleaser a little bit. And I'm also feeling like there's a part of that pleasing that's related to his self-esteem, that he sort of feels not the greatest about himself in terms of who he is, which I know may sound totally out there to people that don't connect with animals in the same way, but he wants your approval so that he can feel better about himself. And that's what he's talking to me about. And it's funny, he just dropped the idea of an Oreo or like some kind of cookie that looks like an Oreo or some food item into my head. I do not, again, do not know why they tell me these things, but this is what
yeah.
he's telling me. So I don't know whether that would relate to like a treat, or not that I'm saying you're giving him Oreos, because hopefully you're not, or whether it's a toy that looks like that. There's something about that picture that he's making me aware of. I do realize he is white and black as well, but there's some piece about the treat that looks like that. So I don't know if you've been working on treat training, but he is mentioning that to me as well. And it's funny, he also is just, he's talking to me, and I hope, Amanda, that you're here so that if you're able to validate, that would be great.
Yeah.
Some piece about the stairs, about going up and down the stairs. I don't know if you've been having trouble with it, or there was some issue on the stairs. Someone fell on the stairs, because he just made me aware of the staircase. And there was some piece about that. So I don't know that he has to be carried or someone else is having an issue with the stairs. There's some piece about that that he's making me aware of. Does that make
Mhm.
sense? Do you know Bobby Dazzler, Bob?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Amanda quite well as well. I haven't seen her for a
Oh,
while, but I do know of Amanda.
oh,
So
nice.
I'm sure
Okay.
she'll get back to us in the chat room in here as well, because she has been in here. So I'm sure
Oh,
she'll
great.
send us a reply back very soon.
Yeah, no, that's great. And again, if people want to send photos, you can go on my messenger. It's the best one because I have a few accounts on the Facebook. It's Mari Cartagenova Medium. That is the best one to send pictures. So, um,
Right.
all right. And I see that Steph, if you'd like me to move on, Steph Jeans just sent me
Yes.
another photo. This
Right.
is Joanne's dog called Skylar, and he is still with
Right.
her. So Joanne's dog Skylar. Oh, look at him. Oh
Oh,
my
that's lovely.
goodness. So
Beautiful.
sweet. Oh, I love him. Yeah, well, thank you for sending that, Steph. I love this. I love all the animals, but there's so much good energy with this animal. Oh my goodness. And he's Skylar is what you said the name is. And I love Skylar's energy. He's so sweet. He's very, like, obviously he's a large dog, some type of shepherd or something, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't really realize how big he is because sort of inside he feels like a smaller dog and
Yeah.
he just wants people to love him. He's like, I just want people to love me. I just want to be the good boy. And there is a lot of feeling and emotion with him. He's a
Yeah.
very, very deep animal, like very old soul type of animal. And they're not all like that. But
No, they're
they're
not.
no, and it's not a criticism. It's
She's
just,
a
just
John said she's a girl.
she's a girl. Okay, thank you. I know I'm never right. I just connect with the soul, not so much the
Yeah, that's
gender.
true. Yeah.
But yeah, so but I appreciate that. But there's something very, very deep about her. And she just, I feel like, and I don't know if you feel this yourself with, I'm not sure, I can't remember the name of the person that sent this in. I know it was Steph,
Joanne.
but it was for somebody, it was for Joanne. Thank you.
Joanne.
Um, if Joanne, if you feel like this is one of your soul animals, because I do feel like the two of you have been connected in a past life as well. And you have, because sometimes you meet these animals and we love our animals, but some animals have that special something. And I do feel like
Yeah.
with with this one, with this dog, Skylar, that you very much have that connection, Joanne, with him. Oh, she said a lot of people think she's a male. Yeah, it's funny. I'm always off on the gender because again, I just do that soul contact. But I do feel like the two of you have something deep together, and there's a piece about always wanting to be by your side, and not just in like there's some piece about wanting to make sure that you're okay, but it's also for Skylar to like so that she feels okay. So like the two of you are kind of symbiotic in terms of needing each other to feel like you're okay, if that makes sense, because that's what I'm hearing from her. Um, and it's funny,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm feeling like a little stomach situation with her. And again, I am not a vet, I cannot diagnose or prescribe, but I do get feelings in my body from the animals. So I don't know if you had switched her food or if she was having some tummy troubles because there's some piece about that. I do feel like she's super sensitive. Again, I was saying
Mm.
she's very emotional, very deep when I come into her energy, but she's also very sensitive, and sensitive animals can have digestive issues. So just keep an eye on that if you haven't experienced that. I would not be surprised if she would need some type of sensitive stomach diet food, which you would have to talk to your vet about. But I feel like she is very, very much picks up on other people's feelings, and that a lot of times she knows what's going on with you before you do, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah, I should have said I have a bond with Skylar like no other. I can't
mm,
describe how much I love her, and I think I need to calm down on treats and steak. Oh my
oh,
God.
yeah. Maybe you do, yeah, because I would not be surprised if she has some tummy troubles because animals that are extremely sensitive, just like people, can have digestive issues, and especially when they get older. So just keep an eye on that. Um, and Joanne says she tells me all I need to know about people, 100%, because she is tapped in. She is again very old soul, very connected. Just when I saw her picture, I was just like, whoa, just drawn in. Very, I love her energy. I love them all, but I love her energy. I can tell
Do
she's
you think she's
very,
been here
very,
before then,
yes,
in another
absolutely.
timeline?
Yes, 100%. I do feel like she's an old soul. I feel like she's been here before, and I feel like specifically she's been here before with Joanne, and Joanne, would have been in another body, another, like I say, this is the outfit that we're wearing this time around when we're here, and so Joanne and Skylar would have been together here in another lifetime many years ago, and will continue again. So whenever it's your time, Skylar's time, just know for everybody that's watching, you will connect with your animals again, especially if you have that soul connection. You will meet up again and you will again be reincarnated with your animal, in a different body. You could be a dog, they could be a person, who knows, but you will be reconnected again. So have no doubt about that.
Bobby Dazzler just saying, that is amazing. Absolutely spot on. The last couple of weeks, he's had trouble at the stairs. All iffy is correct. Thank you, Mara.
Oh, Thank you so much. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. And I'm sorry that I love the name Bobby Dazzler. That's amazing. Love that's like the best animal name I've heard in a long time. But yeah, and again, not a vet, but you might look into some. They have certain treats like the chondroitin or the CBD treats that might be able to help because I feel like it's the hips with him. He's having some back end trouble, and I think that's why he was showing me the stairs, trouble getting up the stairs. I'm feeling a little stiff and a little
Yeah.
soreness in the back hips there. Yeah.
And Joanne said, "This is so accurate. Thank you, Mara."
Oh, I'm so glad. It's, honest, that's why I do the work. I love it. I love to help people. I am a licensed clinical social worker, so I've
Yes.
worked as a therapist for a long time, and that's why I do it. Life is hard enough, right, Bob? It's
Does
like,
anybody else over? I know Mel's in the chat room. He's got a dog at home. I've just said to him, "Can you just send me a picture of your dog?"
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
oh, Bob, thank you for giving me just about to go out. Oh, somebody else had just said, "I'm just about to go out." Oh, if she could send me a picture.
Well, we can always, do this again for sure. I'd be happy to come on. And this time I will triple check the time so I know that it's the right time.
I know. Never mind. Never mind. I'm going to look at the
and yeah,
CBD drops. Steph
yeah,
just said
yeah.
about the dog.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And again, I'm not a vet, but if you talk to your vet about it, clear everything with them, sometimes that can help with the hip soreness. And if there are other people that want readings that for some reason are not able to send in a picture, I can also do a reading because I do a lot of work on the radio here in Boston. If you tell me the name of the dog, or cat or animal, whether it's
Yeah.
living or crossed over, and then either tell me a breed or like a color, what color they are if there's not a certain breed. So I can do readings that way as well if it's easier for people.
Ah, right. Where's Mel? He's in chat room somewhere. He should be listening to this now. He said I'm trying to listen to it and dog keeps barking. So I presume it's because you're giving information out about other animals.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times they're like, hey, I want to get on the action. Like, what am I, top liver? I want to be part of this. So, it's just like our kids,
Well,
they
it's
bother us.
true. It's true, Um, what's the best? What's this here? Someone just sent a photo. I don't know what of, but
Oh, that's okay. I can work with it.
oh, she sent another photo. Oh, this is Molly, my daughter's dog. Can you see this?
Oh, let's see. Oh, it's like a
It's
Springer
Amanda's
Spaniel.
daughter's dog.
Oh, okay. And do we have a name? So it's the same, it looks like a Springer Spaniel, the same breed.
Yeah, it does. It does a little bit. This is
Yeah.
Molly, daughter's dog. Have you got a name? She's coming up now with it. She must have heard us.
And if the dog's living or not.
She can't see the she can't see the bottom one. I'm just trying to see what she's putting. Yes, she is living. What's her name?
Thank you, Filet Fish. That's a really funny name. I'm glad they made a comment saying, I love this show. So, well, Bob does an amazing
Sarah.
job. So,
Can't see the brown. She says she can't see the brown dog, but you can. Let's have a look.
yeah, it looks like a brown and white
Yeah,
dog.
there.
Oh, I see. Oh, that one. Okay, I was looking at the other one. Oh, that's very
No,
cute.
that one.
And
That's
and
that's
that's
uh that's Amanda's daughter's dog.
okay. And the name you said was Molly or no?
No, a daughter's called Molly. This is Molly's daughter's dog. Molly, call it Molly.
Molly, okay. Well, he's very cute from the, and you said that the dog is not crossed over, correct? Is he still here?
Yeah, that's true. We've got it there. Look,
Oh, yeah, very cute. Very sweet little dog.
beautiful.
You know, when I sort of thank you for showing me, Bob, the picture. When I come into that energy, it's like, you
Yes.
know, I'm just, it's almost like a little princess, you know, I'm seeing like a little crown almost like on the dogs. Like, I want, you know, I want to be a good girl, but it's funny as I sort of reach into that energy a little bit. There's some piece about the dog, that dog wants to be treated in a certain way, like not in an obnoxious way. And some of the animals, like I have a pretty obnoxious cat, but not in an obnoxious way, just like, well, of course, you know, you should treat me like the princess because I am the
Yeah.
princess. Like, it's just like an understanding that, like, this is just how it should be, you know? But there's also from that picture that you showed me, I know we're not 100% clear on the name, the little brown dog. The
Molly.
dog, the dog is like, I almost feel like it's holding some energy in the household. And what that tells me is I don't know if there was a loss recently in the household, whether someone moved out, someone crossed, there was a job change. There's some piece of it. The dog is telling me that it's holding some energy and some maybe some sadness in the household for things that have just gone on. And a lot of times, like Bob and I were talking earlier, our animals will do that and sort of help us process those type of emotions and feelings. So I do feel like that's what's going on with that little brown dog right now because she's showing me like hands like this. I'm not good with the camera, like holding onto that energy. So if there is stuff that's going on in your house, I would really talk to the dog about it and say, look, I'm sorry that we're having sort of a difficult time right now. And I know there's a little bit of stress, but things are going to get better because our animals worry about us. Like if we're
Mm.
having problems, if we're sick, like they worry. They're like, "Oh, I don't want anything to happen to mom," you know? Like they want to make sure that we're okay. So I feel in some way that your animal is holding on to a little bit of stress from the household. And I know Bobby Dazzler's mom said, "Oh my God, that's so right. She's spoiled rotten. They just moved out from ours to their own house. Thinks she misses Bobby and Will the cat." Yes. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate the validation. Yeah, because I'm seeing a little crown and then I'm seeing her holding this energy of change and just there's a little sadness. There's some sadness there. So that would make sense that she's missing the other animals and not just the animals, she says, the people also. She's also missing the people. So whether that's you, Amanda, or other people in your household,
Yeah.
there's some sadness there. And it's important to talk to your animals about that and say, look, I'm sorry that we moved. It's going to be really good for us, but it's going to take a little bit of time to adjust because just like people, if you moved your family and your kid lost all their friends because you moved, I would hope you wouldn't say nothing about it. You would say, I'm sorry, honey, this is hard, and sort of
He
process it
loves
with
her
the little
nana.
brown, yeah, little brown dog. So I think that will help the dog a lot and everybody in the family too.
Just one more. This is from Rebecca. It's a cat. Let's see if I
Okay.
can find it. Where are we?
Let's see.
Oh, it's gone out. Wait a minute. We're back again. Let's see if I can find it. There you go.
Oh, it's a
Apollo.
little, yeah. Oh, very cute. And what's the kitty's name? I don't know if you know, Bob.
Apollo. Apollo.
Paulo. Paulo. Very, very fancy name for him. And I'm assuming he's still here. He's still living.
Yeah.
Okay. Paulo, interesting. There's something that's very interesting about him as I feel into his energy. There's almost like a little bit of distance, like I'm not showing you, but it's almost like, so I feel like feels very close to his human, but there's a piece about him that wants to keep that distance. He's like, I'll be close to you, but not that close. So he wants to keep a little bit of separation. And that's okay. All of our animals are different. Some of mine are like that and some of mine aren't. So it's not a judgment. It's just that's how I feel. That's the energy that I'm feeling from him. And there's also a lot of gratitude as well. So it's like he's coming in and he's saying like I want to say thank you. So I don't know if that was a rescue or if you got him from the street. There's some piece about his last house that he's talking about is where he was before. So there's gratitude for rescuing him or saving him from that. But there's also I need a little bit more time. And some of our animals, just like some people, are not, super fuzzy lovey-dovey, and that's just sort of how they are. With Paulo, I feel like he just might need a little bit more time to get more closer to you and more affectionate. But right now, he's like just showing me himself at a distance, like, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on things. I'm going to kind of see how things go, take it one step at a
Yeah,
time. That's the energy that, what he's talking to me about. And he's also talking to me about the food. He mentioned something about the food. So I don't know if he's very picky or you have to only feed him things in a certain way, a certain dish. There's some regimental rules or something he has about this food, or if he only likes the wet, not the dry. There's some piece about the food that he wants it to be in a certain way. Okay, I'm seeing Rebecca said he was a stray. Okay, so I will assume you're talking about Paulo. Very
yeah,
regal. He's very regal, but he also has he's talking to me about rules about the feeding and how he likes the food. I do feel like he likes food, but it has to be done in a certain way for him. Because it's funny. He just has like a little bit of a regimented structure. Like he likes to sit in the same place. He likes to do the same thing. Like he has like his script almost, Some people are more just free form, whatever, hanging in the
yeah,
fan. He's not like that. He's just like, no, I want to do it this way. I want to sit here. I want this kind of food. I want, and it has to be in sort of a certain format then that, and that sort of helps him control his anxiety, because if he was a stray on the streets, that would have been obviously very stressful. And so now the way that he's set up his life is more in a structured way, so that he can sort of manage things that way and not be freaking out about what happened to him in the past. So he's very sweet. Just give him a little more time. And people say, oh, I've had the cat for 3 months and they're not affectionate. And I hate to tell this story, but it's honest to goodness truth. I had a cat that was very skittish, would hide under the bed, all these things. And I'm not kidding. It took her 7 years. Now, I know people hate to hear that, but I have to speak the truth.
yeah.
It took her 7 years to finally get comfortable. And now she's like the best cat ever. She's super affectionate, but it just took her a long time. And just like people, people heal in different lengths of time in different ways. So just be a little patient with Paulo. He will get better and he'll get closer, but just know that he likes to have control. He likes to have things in a certain way, and you sort of have to approach him on his terms. So, oh,
Yeah,
Rebecca
Rebecca,
said, yeah,
Rebecca, as you say that, he's getting better over time. He's very strict with timings and likes routine.
exactly. That's what he's telling me. Yeah, he has to be a certain way, and that's
We've had
okay.
him for 7 years.
Yeah. There you go, 7 years. So maybe it's around the corner, but they all sort of warm up in their own way. And it's sad to me sometimes when people say, "Oh, we've only had him for 3 months and he's not better." It's like if your
God,
kid had a problem, you wouldn't expect them to get over something in 3 years.
true,
You know,
true.
so yeah. So just be patient with your animals and love them. And this has been wonderful, Bob. I really
Hey,
appreciate.
absolutely wonderful. If anybody wants to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
The best way to find me is go to my website, which is mediummari.com, mediummari.com. And all my socials are Medium Mari. I'm on all the regular Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all those places. And you can get a hold of me that way. And I'd love to connect with your viewers.
Beautiful. It's been absolutely marvelous. Everybody's enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, everybody's
Yeah.
enjoyed what you've given them tonight. They're all very over the moon with the readings.
I'm so glad. I mean, again, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I do this because I want to help people and I want to bring people closure and love, and so it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on, Bob. I really am grateful, and grateful to be able to connect with your viewers,
Yeah.
and to be able to give them some
Ah,
readings.
wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, it's always lovely when you've been on the show. Everybody always enjoys you coming on the show. They always look forward to it as well.
Oh, thank you. That's so kind, and I always love coming on the show too, and thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. You have a really nice
Brilliant.
group of viewers. You really do have nice viewers, and the readings are, I love connecting with all their furry friends. So anytime, I'd love to come anytime.
Ah, oh, lovely. I'll just finish the show. Yes, well, thank you again, and hope you have a lovely afternoon.